Hi everyone, I'm Wardah, a STEM Scholar Mentor, and today we'll be going over the third lesson of Unit 5 of Algebra 1, writing linear equations. So the first step in writing a linear equation is to find the slope, and if it's not given, then we're going to use this formula, which we've seen in the last unit, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The second step is to substitute what is given and what we just found out into the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, which I have mentioned over the last few lessons. Now we're going to do an example using these steps. So our problem is write the equation of the line that passes through -5, 6 and 7, 2. So we're going to start by doing our first step, which is finding the slope and substituting these coordinates into the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 formula. So first we have our y2, which is 2 over here, minus our y1, which is 6, over our x2, 7, minus our y1, which is -5. When we solve this, we get -4 over 12, and once that is simplified down, we get -1/3. So now we have our slope, which is -1/3, and now we're going to use our slope to find, and one of these coordinates to find b, the y-intercept. So here we used the coordinate 7, 2, and we used the slope-intercept form, so y equals mx plus b. M is our slope, so it's placed here. And then for y, we use the y from this coordinate, and the x is from this coordinate. And we're going to solve for b. So after solving, we see that b is equal to 4 and 1/3. So now we have our slope and we have our b value. So we can substitute these back into our y-intercept form, our slope-intercept form, So our final equation is y equals 1/3 x plus 4 and 1/3. Usually in these type of questions, these fractions are in improper fraction form, but this could also work. Now I want you guys to do 2 questions on your own, so just pause the screen and complete them, and then we'll go over them on the next few slides. Okay, so here are the answers that you should have gotten. Number 1 is 4, and number 2 we're going to justify by substituting the coordinates. So for number 1, it asks the graph of a linear equation contains the points 3, 11 and -2, 1. Which point also lies on the graph? So we're going to start off by finding our slope by using this formula. We have our y2, which is 1, minus our y1, which is 11, over our x2 minus x1. x2 is -2, and our x1 is 3. When we solve this, we get -10 over -5, which is 2. So 2 is our slope, and now we're going to use the slope and one of these coordinates and substitute it into our slope-intercept form. So we're going to use our slope and then the first coordinate, so 3, 11. So once we substitute this in, our y value is 11, as seen in the coordinate, and our x value is 3, as seen in the coordinate as well. And 2 comes from the slope. So we solve this. 2 times 3 is 6. So we have 11 equals 6 plus b. We subtract 6 on both sides, and we get b equals 5. Now we're going to turn this into our final equation, which will be y equals our slope, 2x, plus our b value, which is 5. Now they're asking us for which point lies on this graph. Now this is a more easier question to work with this kind of question, because they gave us the same x value for each of the answer choices. So we know that we can just substitute 2 into our x value of this equation. So that's what we're going to do. So we have y equals 2 times 2 plus 5. Y is 4 plus 5. And then our answer is 9. So our final answer would be 2, 9, because our slope, well, sorry, not our slope, but our coordinate here was 2, and then the y value was 9. Now for the second question, it says Sue and Kathy were doing their algebra homework. They were asked to write the equation of a line that passes through the points -3, 4, and 6, 1. Sue wrote y minus 4 equals -1/3 x plus 3, and Kathy wrote her equation. Justify why both students are correct. So the way to justify how both students are correct in this question is, so they gave us the equations, both equations, and they also gave us the coordinates. So we're just going to substitute these coordinates, both of them, into these equations. So we'll start off with Sue's equation, and we're going to start with the first coordinate. So we're substituting the y value for y and the x value for x. We solve that, and we get 0 as our y value and 0 as our x. So 0 is equal to 0, so this checks out. For the second coordinate, we're going to do the same thing. Once we solve it, we get -3 for the y and -3 for the x. Both sides of the equation balance on both of these coordinates, so we know that Sue's equation is correct. Now we're going to do Kathy's equation. So we're going to do the y value here and our x value here. We solve for that. 4 is equal to 4 on both sides of the equation, so this checks out. Same thing on the other side, on the other coordinate. 1 is equal to 1, so this also checks out. So we know that both Sue and Kathy's equations are correct because when the coordinates are substituted, they are balanced on both sides of the equation. That's all for this lesson. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, don't be afraid to contact my email here. And if you're looking to practice with any additional resources, JMAP and Khan Academy are some great ones.